Today we're talking about 11.1, and we are using our binomial theorem to find a particular term. So instead of having to figure out the whole thing, we're just going to figure out a specific term. Okay, we have learned about Pascal's triangle, correct?
Yes.
Well, Pascal's triangle is actually all combinations. Yeah, remember combinations from last unit? Yes? Okay, so how it works is, you know, whatever exponent you have, so if I had an exponent of 2, the terms would be 2 combination 0, 2 combination 1, 2 combination 2. So let's say, like I said, I want you to find out the number for the third term in the 20th row. Well, if you look at your Pascal's triangle, you don't have the 20th row here, do you? No. So how this works is, so if I said, let's just do this kind of the side, third term, 20th row. So that would be, for instance, if I said like a plus b to the 20th exponent, okay, and I wanted the third term. Well, if you look here, whatever the exponent is the number that goes in front, right? And then, but it starts with 0. Because remember how there's one extra term? And that's because of the 0 term. So if I'm doing the third term, it would be 20C0, 20C1, and then it'd be 20C2. So if I want to find this answer, I would go 20C2 to find out what the coefficient is in front. Okay? Do you guys remember how to find the combination? Okay. 20 factorial divided by what? 18 and then 2. And so on that one, we'd go 20 times 19 times 18 all over 2 times 1 times 18. The 18s and the dots cancel out. 1 doesn't matter. 2 goes into 20 10 times, and I'd have 10 times 19, which is 190. And so, but if they wanted the third term, okay, and again, you're at the 20th row, they wanted the third term. If you were to go 1, 2, 3. So we know this number is 190. Starting here, this would be a to what power? A to the 20th, and this would be a to the 19th, and this would be a to the 18th. And then what should all the exponents add to equal? The exponents always add to equal 20. So that means this would be b to the second, and this would be your answer. Now, I actually gave you a harder problem here than what we're actually going to do. But I just want to show you why it's beneficial to know that these are combinations, because you could find a 20th row. Now, for all of us, we have up to the 12th row. So if we're like talking about the 7th row, we don't really have to do the combination of it because I know what the term numbers are, right? Does that make sense? Yes? Okay. But we're still going to practice it here a little bit. So example 1, it says find the coefficient. So coefficient is the number in front. Sometimes the number is the actual number we put here, and sometimes it's different if like you have a number in your binomial, then it ends up changing, right? But it's wanting to know the coefficient, so they're wanting to know the number of x to the 5th in this expansion. So we need to figure out which term number has x to the 5th. Okay, and then we're going to go from there. So I know if I have a 7th power, there's actually 8 blanks. If you count here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blanks. Okay, if I were to start working this out, I would start with x to what power here? 7th, and then this would be x to the 6th, and this would be x to the, and I'm going to stop there. Why do you think I'm going to stop there? Because that's what it's asking for. It's wanting the term with x to the 5th in it. Okay, so if the x is x to the 5th, the b part is -3, and it's going to be -3 to what power? To the 2. And how do we know it's 2? because 5 plus 2 needs to add to 7, what my exponent is. Okay, so let's just do the C, even though we know what the answer should be. If you're going to the third term in the 7th row, what should the number be? 21. Okay, let's check to see if it works. So 7C2, what's going to go on top? 7 factorial divided by? Good. So then we go 7 times 6 times 5 over 2 times 1 times 5. Okay, the 5s, the dot dot dots cancel. 1 doesn't matter. 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 7 times 3 is 21. So it worked out. So we have 21, x to the 5th, and negative 3 to the 2nd. A negative to the 2nd power will make a negative or a positive? Positive. And it's going to make positive what?
9.
So I have 21, I have x to the 5th, and I have 9. And when I multiply 21 and 9, what do I get?
189.
So it's 189 x to the 5th, but they only want the coefficient. They only want the number. So therefore, my answer is what? 189. Okay. Let's try example 2, and then you're going to do maybe 3 on your own. So, example 2, find the coefficient of x to the 3rd in this expansion. So I would start always by making how many blanks there are. So how many blanks, how many terms are on this problem? 6. Let's make 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, then they only want the one with x to the 3rd. So I'm going to start with my 3x to the 5th. So we have 3x to the 5th, 3x to the 4th, 3x to the 3rd, and I'm going to stop because that's going to give me what? X to the 3rd. Okay, so if we go to our, well, we can go back here. 2y is going to be to what power? Good. And how do I know it's to the 2nd? Because 3 plus 2 equals my 5. Now, the only thing I'm missing is the number in front. So if we go to the 5th row, the 3rd term in, what is that value? 10. So even it's on this one up here at the big top. So this is 1, 2, 3 in. So I go 1, 2, 3 in, and that's my value, 10. Okay, and then we just have to simplify. So we're going to get 10 times, what is 3 to the 3rd? 9.
No, 27.
Thank you. Mess me up now. Okay, and then 2 to the 2nd is 4. And then 10 times 27 times 4 is 1,080. So it's 1,080 x to the 3rd, y to the 2nd, or my answer is actually just the coefficient in front, which is 1,080. So I honestly think that this one's a little easier than almost even last night's, because last night you had to figure out every single answer, and this one you're only figuring out one part of the whole expansion. Make sense? Okay, notice on example 3 how it says the 3rd term. So it's not asking for the coefficient, it's actually for the whole term. So like if I was asking for the whole term, it'd be 1,080 x to the 3rd, y to the 2nd. So this one wants the letters and numbers all involved of the 3rd term. Do you think you guys can handle this? Okay, I'm going to give you a minute here to try it on your own. Remember the 10 came from, so this is x to the 5th, so we go to this, the 5 row, and it's 1, 2, 3 terms in, so 1, 2, 3. So remember, if I were to write all this out, it would have been 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. But I just took the number for that one because that's the only one I needed. Does that make sense? Or you could have done the whole C thing. So this, if you were doing the C, it would have been 5C, and it goes 0, 1, 2, 5C, 2. And you would have got 5 factorial over 3 factorial, 2 factorial, 5, 4, 3 over 2 times 1 times 3. Those cancel, cancel. 1 cancels. 2 goes into 4. 2 times 5 times 2 makes the 10. Okay, if you get your answers, you can write them on your whiteboards. Yes, good. 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 No. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. I am having a hard time understanding. 50? No. Yes. But if you guys can write them out on whiteboards, it's easier. For me. No. Okay. You should have had 6 blanks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The correct answer was, that's it. 250 x to the third y to the second. So it wants the third term, 1, 2, 3. If we go to our fifth row, 1, 2, 3 in, the number is what? 10. Okay? If we start with our x to the fifth, I have x to the fifth, x to the fourth. This is x to the third. Don't forget this is a negative here. This is a negative 5y to what power? To the second, and I know it's to the second because, right, these need to add to be 5. Okay, so now in terms of numbers, I have 10, and what's negative 5 to the second power? 25. So 10 times 25 is 250, x to the third, y to the second. That is the term. That is the whole answer.
What happens because I'm doing
You sure?
yeah.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions here?
Just 250 or
No, because it says the third term, it's the whole thing. If it said the coefficient, it would just be the number. Yes.
Why do you just distribute the square into the 5 but not?
I didn't. I did it to both. I just didn't write it.
No. Why did you? Oh. You don't multiply 10 times 10 times 10.
No, this 3 is only to the x, not to the 10. Any other questions?